How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Pastor Darrell Scott of Cleveland, Ohio. He is a Trump supporter, black man, great guy. He was at a meeting with Trump and other black pastors discussing the black community, and he said something here that a lot of people are really triggered about. There's a lot of conversation about it. And before I continue, before I get into what he said, and if I agree, disagree, if I'm in the middle, and my reasonings for my decision, either way, let's take a look at the clip. After we get done with the clip, I'll come back and we'll take it from there. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Pastor Darrell Scott, I've had the honor and privilege to work with then candidate, now President Trump, and to observe him behind the scenes and have a number of personal conversations with him. And people ask me, why do I defend him so vociferously? And I say it's easy for me to do because I know him. And he's shown me his heart, and I know he has a heart for all Americans. And I will say this administration has taken a lot of people by surprise, and it's going to surprise you guys even more because this is probably the most proactive administration regarding urban America and the faith-based community in my lifetime. And I'll be 60 years old in December. But when I think back on, I use good hair dye. And I've got a great makeup artist. But to be honest, this is probably going to be and I'm going to say this at this table, the most pro-black president that we've had in our lifetime because, and I try to, analyze the people that I encounter. This president actually wants to prove something to our community, our faith-based community and our ethnic community. The last president didn't feel like he had to. He felt like he didn't have to prove. He got a pass. This president this administration is probably going to be more proactive regarding urban revitalization and prison reform than any president in your lifetime. If we work together, give him a chance. Don't pay any attention to these guys back here. And, and I promise you, we will do something that we will. This administration will continue to make history. It's going to be a lot of positive change. Great things are on the horizon. I promise you.
Okay, so you see what he said. Now, I agree 100%. And shout out to Darrell Scott for having the courage to say it. We need a lot more men. It doesn't even matter what color you are, to have more courage in what they say. Say what you mean what you say. That's my motto. I'm not really one to leave room for interpretation. So that was a great thing that he said here. And I'm glad that it's sparking the conversation because we have to really look at what some of the presidents have done in our lifetime. How was it impacted the black community in a positive way, negative way, or whatever? Let's just start with what Trump is doing. First of all, you are a guy that is against higher minimum wages. You are a guy that is trying to bring jobs back to the country. And a lot of these jobs are low-skilled jobs, which goes right hand in hand with minimum wage not being increased. The problem with the offshore and the jobs is that they are cheaper overseas. And you got a lot of other things that go into the EPA regulations. Trump is trying to cut all these regulations, all the red tape, all the expense of doing business here in the US of A. That's going to directly help a lot of African Americans. Well, I say black, but African American, whatever. But I digress. It helped a lot of black folks, put it like that, because a lot of us, for whatever the reason may be, we have low skills and low education. So if you have low skills and low education, you're going to need a job that does not require a lot of skills and education, which is going to be the lower wage jobs. When you have a minimum wage that is super high out the roof, you're talking like $10 an hour, $15 an hour or whatever, that's going to be cost prohibitive to employers from hiring an American citizen. So they go overseas, or they try to bring in somebody through a visa, H-1B, H-2B, or whatever. In the meantime, Jerome on the block still needs a job, and he is priced out of the job. He'll be looked over for an immigrant on a visa, an illegal immigrant working under the table, or overseas. He's just caught in this weird space that makes him unemployable due to his skill and education. That is unfair. That is something that needs to be totally just wiped out. And Trump is trying to do just that. And the next thing, abortion. Trump is vehemently against abortion, and he passed something that actually took away some of Planned Parenthood's funding. Now, did he totally defund Planned Parenthood? No. I think that's going to be a much more complicated process. It's not just as simple as, okay, no more money into Planned Parenthood. There are a lot of different ways that money gets to Planned Parenthood. It's not just one funnel you can cut off and then all the money's gone. But I'll move on. Planned Parenthood has claimed, or abortion in general has claimed, 20 million black lives since 1973 Roe v. Wade. Okay, our population percentage has actually gone down in proportion to everyone else. I mean, we're increasing, but we're not increasing. Our birth rate is low. We're being replaced by a lot of immigrants from the southern border, illegally, legally, or whatever. It's a mess. We're being pushed out of our communities. We're being replaced with those who speak two languages. If you want to get a job in some of these areas like Compton, California, or LA in general, you got to be able to be bilingual. And that brings me back to the whole low-skilled jobs thing. Who do you think is going to be first in line for these low-skilled jobs? And then a lot of times they get in power. They will only hire each other. And before you know it, you have a whole construction site that is totally comprised of people that come from south of the border that all speak Spanish. So what does that leave you if you're trying to get a job there? How are you even going to get your foot on an economic ladder to rise yourself up? It's going to be next to impossible. So Trump is trying to curb the immigration, illegal immigration, the abortion, all these things that directly impact black people in a negative way. All right. So Trump is most certainly pro-black. I don't really see how he's not. And then also being an advocate of school choice, that's definitely going to help us, because a lot of times we're stuck in these bad schools and we can't get out. And the schools don't care because they have no competition. It's run by the government. It's just like the VA. Sometimes the VA hospital can be good, other times not so good. And a big part of the reason why they're not so good sometimes is because they have no competition. There's no reason to actually perform better. Why would you perform better when you're going to get paid regardless of what? And that's kind of what's going on with the public school system. So you're in favor of school choice. You are in favor of wages that can actually employ somebody rather than being so high a person becomes unemployable. You're in favor of bringing jobs back. You're getting the unemployment rate down. You're getting the workforce rate up. You're doing all these things that work in the favor of black people. Now, what did Barack Obama do? Not a whole lot. I mean, I think the only thing you could say that he did was freed some people that were in jail that were black. And the question has to be, who did he free? Notice he did not free Allison Marie Johnson, and she's been in jail for 21 years. Her case came across his desk, but she was denied. I wonder why. Meanwhile, you letting off guys that were in there for violent crimes, habitual drug offenders, all these people. I think one person even recidivized and killed some people. If I'm wrong about that, let me know in the box, but I did read that somewhere, but I could be incorrect. The point is that he did not actually help people that really needed it, as far as I can tell. Maybe there's a case here and there, but I was not able to see it. Barack Obama was just a figurehead who was in there being led by other people. So he has no real incentive to do anything for any special interest group unless they put pressure on him or something like that, which is why he bent over backwards for the LGBT community. They put pressure on his back and he wanted to do things for them. He did not do anything for the black community. He just didn't do it. Many of us in the black community will say that Barack Obama is great, just like LeBron James in that Don Lemon interview, because he's black and he's cool and, they like to give him dap and all this and that. But when it comes down to the substance, what he's actually able to get done, he didn't do anything. All right. And then before Barack Obama, you had George Bush. George Bush was kind of like a middle of the road. I'll give him a C. I mean, he did some things, but some things he really didn't do very well. And then Slick Willie, we all know what he did. And then his wife, Hillary, we know what she did as well. Two very corrupt people. And then Reagan actually did a lot for the black community, but people think that he didn't because of the whole crack epidemic. But here's the thing. There's been no crack epidemic under Trump. you have the opioid crisis, but that was going on before Trump got into office. This has been going on for a long time, and it really spiked under one President Barack Obama. Some would think that the opioid crisis is just hurting white Americans. That's not true. It's hurting everybody. It just happens to be that white Americans tend to be the face of it because it hits a lot of these small town areas where white folks are being impacted the most. But a lot of black folks have been impacted as well. A lot of these new rappers are pretty much opioid addicts. You know, these guys sipping lean and all this and that. And you got a lot of kids that are watching it thinking it's cool to do. So you have all these zombies out here of all colors that are using drugs of all types. But I don't want to go down that road, so I'm going to digress yet again. Point is, who can you look at in recent history or within our lifetime, if you are 30, 40, 50, who can you look at that has done more for the average American than Donald Trump in a very short period of time? I think when it's all said and done, he will be seen as the most pro-black president that there has been. Is he just expressly a pro-black president? Obviously not, but it doesn't matter. When you do things that are going to help Americans in general, you do things that are going to help the black community, because contrary to popular belief in the black community, it doesn't matter what color you are. If you are an American citizen, you are an American. That's why I got these flags behind me, because I'm an American and I'm proud to be so. I'm not anything else. That's why I don't even like being called African American. I like being called black, because at the end of the day, I'm not African. You may have had ancestors 400 years ago that came from there, but as of right now, today, I was born here. This is my country. This is mine. This country belongs to me and you if you're a citizen, so I'm an American. So Trump, hats off to him. He's done a lot for the black community, and I expect a lot of more positive things from him with education reform. I don't think there needs to be any kind of police reform. I think that the police need to be supported and protected, and a lot of these hateful groups that are coming out against them should be totally disbanded, and they really need to have less influence on American culture. So what do you think? Do you think that Donald Trump will be the most pro-black president of our lifetime? If so, please explain to me why in the comments below. If you think that he won't, please explain to me why in the comments below. And if you don't think the way I think, then who would fit that bill for the most pro-black president of our lifetime? You know, don't go back to slavery and talk about Abraham Lincoln and all this and that. We all know what he did. Let's talk about, as far as modern history, us living. If you are 70, 80, or 90 or below, who has done more than Trump in a very short period of time? I can't really put my finger on it. I say Reagan, because one thing about Reagan people don't know, as I close, under Reagan, the black employment rate actually rose by 20%. Under Obama, it fell by 43%. But that's pretty much all I got. So whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. That's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.